quietly shape how your prompts perform. We're joined by Ignite Fam's very own Laura Betterly, one of our beloved frequent AI Morning Club guests and a cherished Ignite chapter leader. And she's going to walk us through five surprising AI behaviors that rarely get discussed and how to actually work with them so you get better, more consistent results. If you're watching from any of Perry's social pages and want to join us live, you can hop in at aimorningclub.com/live. And if you want to catch the stream again, you'll find it on Perry socials after the session. With that said, let's dive in. Laura, take it away.
Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? It looks like a lot of friends are here, which is really, really nice. So I am gonna let's see, share here and go over let's see, my little music pin is oh, I just sent a request to share.
You should be good to
Okay,
share
there
now.
we go, there we go. Beautiful. So awesome. So this is called Five Weird Things About AI Nobody Tells You and How to Actually Work with It. So I am keeping the chat open, and I will look over on occasion if you have questions, and if there's enough time afterwards, we'll of course take some. So let's get started. First thing is, look, everybody keeps hyping AI like it's a magic, 10x your productivity, write anything in seconds, AI will change everything. And to a real big degree, they're not wrong because it is powerful. But this is what nobody's saying. I mean, AI can be weird as hell. And if you don't understand the quirks, you're going to waste a lot of time and look a little stupid. So we don't want to do that because we're smart people here, right? So let's talk about the weird shit nobody mentions, okay? The stuff you discover when you actually use AI heavily and not just dabble, but use it like for everything like I do. Like, for example, I use typically 2.5 million co-credits a month, and it's this fifth of the month, and I already had to buy 2 million more credits because I use it a lot. And that's just Poe because I also use Manus and I use Claude and I use ChatGPT. So yeah, it's part of my life. And there you go. But here's a really interesting thing. AI has no sense of time. Do you ever notice this? Like AI exists in an eternal now. It doesn't know if you talked about something this morning or if it was last week or 3 months ago, because everything is happening at the same time. It just is, which makes referencing back past conversations pretty much a nightmare. If you do things in threads and you continue to go on, it just doesn't know if if you let it go and you came back the next morning, or it's a week later, or it's 3 months later. So um, I was working on an AI project, and I jumped into the conversation and just said, "Hey, what did we decide about that email migration thing?" And AI was basically like, "Which migration? From when? What context?" Because to the AI, every conversation about email migration exists in the exact same moment. And that's the difference between machines and us. They don't have that sense of time and that sense of movement. It can't tell, oh, she was talking about that thing last week, or she was talking about this morning. It all blends together. Has anybody found weird time quirks with AI? You can type in the chat yes, no, maybe. Yep, yep, yep. Okay, good. Yep, good. So I'm not the only one who noticed this. Well, the reason why this matters is without time context, IA can't track progress, like where are we? It can't reference a past decision. Why did we choose that? And it can't build easily on previous work. So let's continue where we left off. So we end up repeating yourself, explaining the same context over and over again, or worse, getting answers that reference wrong conversations from the wrong time. And by the way, I was asked before we started, where's my cat? And I said, as soon as I started presenting, she would show up, and she has. This is Edie. She's 15. She will annoy the hell out of us for the next 15, 20 minutes. Anyway, so the fix on this is to timestamp everything. So start every conversation with its date, and time, and here's the context, and here's what I need. And it's a very simple fix. It's Wednesday, November 20th, 4:39 p.m. EST. Last week we discussed migrating from P-Hod to Campaign Refinery. Here's where we left off, context. Now I need help with specific thing. And suddenly AI now has a timeline, context from when things happen, and the ability to reference and build on past work. It's one simple habit that creates a massive improvement. And thank you. Yes, she is lovely, although a pain in the ass. Um, Somebody said about the cat. So here's another example, and this is kind of embarrassing. So I started time stamping, and AI saw me doing it and decided to quote unquote, "Oh, we're time stamping now. Let me participate." Confidently invents timestamp. You know, yes, you could write. You could add the year bill. Asking about the time stamping. You can absolutely. I just find that I don't use year context in the same thread, so it's not as important to me. But yeah, it is important. So yeah, so anyway, AI thinks, okay, we're time stamping now. Let me participate and confidently invents the time. And I'm like, yeah, but it's 5 o'clock. It's not 11:23 p.m. AI says, well, I have no idea time. I just wanted to be helpful. And yeah, I love when help is not help. So the punchline is then the AI told me to go to bed, but it was 5 p.m. Okay, before dinner, before it thought because it thought it was 11:23 p.m. because it made up the timestamp, and then it gave me advice based on made up information. So the lesson is AI doesn't just lack time awareness; it will confidently lie about time and make recommendations based on those lies. So yeah, you timestamp, not the AI. And I have to sometimes remind the AI that hey, you're not supposed to be timestamping. Anyway, weird thing number two is AI actually doesn't know what it doesn't know. It hallucinates with complete confidence. And people talk about, oh, it hallucinates, but they don't talk about actually why it is. It's because they just don't know what they don't know. So the problem is AI will just make shit up and it'll do it confidently without hesitation while sounding like it knows exactly what it's talking about. And that is a hallucination. And it can be dangerous because then you can't tell what's happening unless you actually verify it. So there you go. So a real example of what happened is I asked AI to write a bio for Perry Belcher, marketing legend, mentor to Russell and a whole bunch of other people and co-founder of Digital Marker. And it told me that Perry co-founded StomperNet, which was actually Andy Jenkins. Also said that he was involved in Kajabi early on, which was also wrong, and credited him to building to checkout. All wrong, but it delivered it to me with complete confidence, like it was a fact. And if I just shipped that out, right, Perry would have laughed at me, and I mean, he laughs at me for a lot of things, but not for that. And there you go. So why this matters is if you don't fact check AI, you will ship out, meaning deliver or create garbage and look like an idiot at the same time, which none of doesn't look good on any of us because AI doesn't have a I'm not sure about this mode. It just generates based on patterns, and sometimes those patterns are wrong. But it delivers them with the same confidence as the right answers. So that adds a little layer of complexity that you didn't think of before. I don't know if you guys heard about um, the attorneys who used ChatGPT to write a brief, and it had a whole bunch of made up cases to in there, and they got in a little bit of trouble with that. So the fix is to always verify anything that matters. Okay, facts, statistics, names, credentials, dates, anything you're going to publish or present. So the truth is, you use AI for drafts, not for final output. You're the quality control. Oh God, somebody said those cases weren't made up; they came from television shows. Yeah, which was also not real. That's pretty funny. Anyway, so you use AI for drafts, not final output. You're the quality control because That's the way it is. All right. And, everybody keeps talking about, AI is going to replace things. It's not going to replace human looking at stuff and correcting it. It's an important thing. We have to all be responsible for not creating garbage on the internet. So we have to make sure that that's the case. And weird thing number three is that AI can't read your mind, even though it feels like it can. So, about AI output quality is dependent on input quality. So if you don't give it enough context and you give it garbage, it's not going to give you quality content back. Most people give AI almost nothing to work with and then wonder why the output is generic. Think of it as like somebody you hired. If you hired somebody to be a copywriter and just said write a sales letter on tasty snacks, and then didn't tell them anything about tasty snacks and about who buys tasty snacks and everything else, you're gonna get crap, right? So I mean, you gotta give it to gotta give it enough information to work. It's the smartest employee you'll ever have if you give it enough information. But if you don't give it enough information, it's just gonna give you generic stuff. So let me give you like a really good example of bad AI outreach. Okay, I got a text message this week. It says, "Hey, good day there. This is Nick. How are you doing today, sir? I'm a woman. I got your number from a domain provider. Basically, I'm part of a marketing agency and delivered many variety of services, including professional websites, marketing, SEO, paid advertising, email campaign, logo, AI related services, and many more. And it's clearly AI generated and it's clearly terrible. Why? Because Nick gave I a scraped contact list with zero research, generic prompts, write a sales text, no personalization, and no human review. So AI gave him garbage. So why this fails is because AI mirrored Nick's laziness. If it was really Nick, he didn't research who I am, understand what I actually need, personalize the approach, or edit the output. And if he actually did a search of me, he would have not sent me all of these wonderful things he did, since I've been doing that since probably before he was born. But anyway, AI couldn't save him because it just helped him be lazy faster. And the result is he got blocked by me and probably everyone. So the fix is to give AI better inputs. Don't say write a sales email. Say write a sales email to agency owners who are overwhelmed working 70-hour weeks and skeptical of quick fixes. They've been burned before. The tone should be direct, no BS conversational. Here's how I write, paste an example. The offer is specific details. Do you see the difference? Once AI gives a context, the others ask it to guess. Then edit the output. Remove generic stuff, excessive emojis. Oh my God. You almost can tell by the amount of emojis that something is, AI. And I know people keep talking about the M dashes. I've always used them, but AI really loves them. Cliches, anything that doesn't sound like you. The result is copy that actually works because you did the thinking and AI just helped you execute faster. The other thing to note, and this is weird thing number four, is that AI mirrors your laziness and your genius. The problem, AI doesn't make you better, it just makes you more of what you already are. So if you're lazy, AI helps you to be lazy faster. And if you're strategic, AI helps you to execute genius at scale. The competitive advantage isn't the AI, it is you. I'm going to say that again. The competitive advantage isn't the AI, it's you. So your thinking, your experience, your market knowledge, it just amplifies it. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, good. I
Yes,
got a
it
couple.
does.
Yeah, okay, good. Thank you. So here's two examples, same tool. Example number one was in Nick's spam text. Used AI to scrape who is data, generic pitches, blast strangers at 6 o'clock in the morning, zero research, zero personalization, zero editing. And the result is blocked by everyone, and AI amplified his laziness. Now, I'll give you my response to Best Buy. So, oh, I didn't put the image here, but anyway, so Best Buy told me to strap a freezer to my convertible. Not exactly how it happened, but basically, what it did was it said I had my freezer broke, right? It's a huge freezer, it's the size of a refrigerator, and I'm trying to get somebody to the house to fix it. And Best Buy said to me, "Why don't you bring it in?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to strap it to my convertible." And what I did was I actually took a picture, or I actually created an AI picture of this, which was in the presentation, but I guess I didn't save the slide. That shows me in a convertible with um, a freezer on the back of my car, and that made me laugh, and I posted it on social, so I didn't get pissed. I just made my point, and it didn't raise my blood pressure, and I moved on. And so AI amplified my strategy. So the lesson here is to use AI to execute faster, but don't skip the thinking part, because AI will just automate what you give it. So if you give it nothing, you get nothing back. But if you give it something, you get something back faster. And this is the other thing that's pretty interesting. AI doesn't understand consequences. The problem is AI will generate whatever you ask for, even if it's dangerous, illegal, stupid, or guaranteed to blow up in your face. It doesn't think, wait, should I really suggest this? It just generates. And here's a perfect example. Okay, I got this ad in on my newsfeed. Now, what's wrong with this picture? Take a look at it. Look at it. The desk is in the driver's seat, not the passenger seat. The driver's seat. It's a car desk for the driver while he's driving. So the ad is either encouraging people to work while driving, which is illegal and dangerous, or suggesting you park and work from your driver's seat. Why not just move to the passenger seat? Either way, it's a disaster. So what happened is somebody at Waldiz, which is the name of the company, asked AI to generate a professional workspace in the car, and then AI created a beautiful image, and they shipped it without checking if it made sense. Nobody asked, does this accidentally promote distracted driving? Yeah. Oh, maybe a Tesla. Yeah, but that'd still be illegal. Nobody asked, will people still think we're idiots? They just saw, looks professional, ship it. And that's a lawsuit waiting to happen. Beautiful, but wrong. So the fix is always to have a human in the loop, right? Before you ship out AI content, you ask, does this make sense? What's the worst thing that could happen if I use this? And what would a reasonable person look at and go, what the fuck? AI can't generate. And it can generate, but it can't judge. That is your job. And this is the picture. So the Best Buy. So the person said, yeah, just bring it in. I'm like, I drive a convertible. So this is so I used AI to generate this, which I thought was good, and it made me look younger, which I kind of dig. Anyway, but uh, there you have it. So the freezer is, literally bigger than my car, and it's blocking the entire truck, and it puts me one pothole away from causing a 10-car pileup. So the lesson is AI will suggest anything without thinking about consequences. You have to be the one who says, that's insane. So let me recap this so everybody knows, and then I can open it up to some questions. AI has no sense of time, so your fix is to timestamp your conversations. Second thing is AI doesn't know what it doesn't know, so you always fact check anything that matters. And the third thing is AI just can't read your mind, so you give it better inputs and context and examples and specificity, because the more specific you are, the better it is. And then the other thing is just keep in mind, AI mirrors your laziness and your genius. So do the thinking first and then let AI execute. And the other thing is AI just doesn't understand consequences. So, you always look at what could go wrong before shipping it out. So the bottom line is an AI is not a replacement for experience, thinking, judgment, or humanity. And AI is never going to replace that. It's an amplifier. So make sure you give it something worth amplifying. So, how you actually work and win with AI is A, timestamp your conversations, give AI context when things are happening, always fact check. And it hallucinates and verify before you ship, and give better inputs. Context, examples, specificity equals better outputs. And I saw that question that came in. I will answer it when I'm done here. Um, and then do the thinking first. AI executes, you strategize, review for consequences, ask what could go wrong before you ship. And by ship, I mean sending out. So, my final thought is that people who win with AI aren't the ones with the best prompts. They're the ones who understand the limitations. They use AI as a partner, not a replacement. And they build systems around them, but they bring their own thinking, experience, and judgment to the table. It's a hugely important thing. AI does not replace humans; it amplifies them. So make sure you're worth amplifying. All right, now we're on questions. So there was one question that I got from James. It says, "Do you work from raw prompts most of the time, or from GEM custom GPT project so you can preload all the data and context?" And it just depends. Like when I'm working on my own stuff, I have threads with and documents. Like I have a very specific way of researching. So I do my market research first. I always have that in a text file. I'll upload that to whatever I'm working on, whatever bot it was, and whatnot. And I usually handle things conversationally in the sense that I explain it like I was explaining it to somebody who works for me. And there you go. And there you have it. Okay. So it looks like we've got some people who've got some questions want to raise their hands. Do you want to handle that?
We got Luis.
Hi, Laura.
Hi.
All right. I know you work with Manus, and
Yeah.
this last I usually get good results with Manus, but the last couple of days it's like acting like a teenager that doesn't want to listen. I give
That
it
happens.
instructions. I give it specific. I say only do this and only use, and it just I'm having to prompt it like 7 or 8 times to get it back on track.
Yeah.
Is it something I'm
Yeah.
doing, or is that
No, no,
ever
no. I
happened?
mean, they updated some of the back end there, and they updated the models and whatnot. I have a feeling what you're dealing with is across the boards. I mean, programmer makes a change, and then all of a sudden it changes everything.
Okay,
You know what I
and I
mean?
noticed
Yeah.
they just introduced projects. Have you gotten pretty good results with that?
Not yet. I have not yet. I switch between. Okay, so I also am a member of Genesis, so I use a lot of the Genesis fonts a lot.
Recording in
Um,
progress.
So
Okay.
sorry. So I
It's
have
okay.
there's that, and then I have
Hello?
ChatGPT, Manus. I mean, and I've been using Gemini also. So back and forth. But for client stuff, I actually keep projects on my desktop and I just upload it to wherever I'm going, depending, because I will also test the results of Manus versus the results of, let's say, MarioBot versus the results of ChatGPT. Now, in ChatGPT, one of the things I do have is like these deep research masterminds. Like I have one for copywriters. Perry taught this a long time ago, but basically, I did a deep research on him and Dean Jackson and Frank Kern, and basically the instructions for that project this is my copywriters mastermind, and then I let them fight over what's the better subject line, you know. And
Awesome.
it's
Awesome.
yeah, and it's fun. It's fun. Yeah. And
Awesome. Thank you.
yeah, yeah, great. Any other questions? Oh, all right. See if we got anything else going on. Any other questions, guys? Because if not, we're just about at the half hour mark, and I can wrap things up. But yeah, I mean, as I was saying initially, um, these are very logical things, but they're a little quirky that people just don't look at when it comes to AI, and having them in your arsenal and knowing, especially the timestamp, makes a huge difference. And just so you know, if you want to reach me, I'm on Facebook. Um, you can reach me through laurabetterly.com or join my newsletter that should hit 50,000 users by the end of the day at agencyinsider.news. And that's it, guys.
Laura, we've got a question from email.
Oh, yeah.
Do you find that using a specific file format, text versus PDF, when including files works better?
Well, text files are just they're a little bit more condensed, so they probably work better or faster. But I use PDFs, and I also like using images. So I also am blessed enough to be able to have enough money to spend $200 a month on ChatGPT, and buy 2.5 million credits a month and whatever. So I don't worry about being throttled quite as much. I also find that Claude, which the some of the bots in Poe use, is a better writer than ChatGPT. Manus does use Claude a lot of the time, and it's more intricate but not as creative. And I like having creative writing. So there you go. That
Mhm.
makes sense.
From Georgetta, what is your research SOP, Laura?
Oh, well, it's okay. So what I do is I look at competitors. I look at the who would be what's a sample avatar, and then with the avatars, and I have GPTs that I use for this that give me everything about what they're thinking and in result, what are their fears, what are the solutions they've used before, what is on that, and then I also look at their attitudes when it comes to whatever it is you're talking about. Like, so for example, if you want to know how somebody really feels about something, you would find a subreddit and see who's pissed off and talking anonymously on Reddit. I put all that information together, and then I do deep research, but I do it in Gemini, and I do it in ChatGPT, and I do it in Manus, and I put that all together, and then I put that all in Manus, and then I have Manus create a little um, website with all the data on it. So that's what I use to work off of, and I've done that with you know uh, um, with my agency insider. I found out a whole bunch of real interesting things about, agency owners. And the big thing is that they work a lot of hours, and they have clients who are constantly asking them to do things that they're not contracted to do. And that's called scope creep. So I created a GPT based on the research, and that is my lead magnet for the newsletter. So yeah, so that there you go. Um,
Smart. Mhm.
yeah, there you go.
Dr. Dr. Jim, you have a question?
Yeah, hey Laura. By the way,
Hi.
your newsletter is fantastic. So I
Oh,
love it.
thank you.
Yeah, but I've noticed in chat, and I've probably noticed it now for a month or more. I just have not tested it, and I thought maybe you have. You get your output, and then there's a little button or something that says compare with Claude or something like that now. And
I
have you
didn't see
used
that.
that at all?
I
Yeah.
did not see that. Where are you seeing that?
Um, I don't know if I can share my screen. I'll be happy. But bottom line is, at the end of my outputs from Chat GPT, there's a small button, and I don't remember adding like anything, any integration or anything like that. But it comes up and it asks me to compare. I'll tell you what I'll do is under this post in Perry's group, I'll
Yeah.
post a screenshot so you can see it.
Yeah, that would be great. I would
Yeah.
just say, are you using any sort of Chrome extension?
I mean, I have some Chrome extensions, but I don't think I have any GPT. I do have something called Superpowered GPT, which
I
allows me
bet
to
you that. I bet.
organize.
I bet you it comes from that because
You know, you're probably
it,
right.
my gut instinct is that OpenAI does not want you to compare the output to Claude.
Mhm.
Just
Gotcha.
thinking, yeah. But if you have a Chrome extension that extends the functionality of ChatGPT, then of course you might have something like that, and that's kind of smart. I mean, I use Manus a lot for vibe coding because it's a good coder. So I've made like WordPress plugins and I've made Chrome extensions. Like one Chrome extension I made because it just didn't exist was how to export Poe to Google Docs, and it just didn't exist. And but again, it added the functionality to that just didn't exist. So there you go.
Can I also just real quick mention to people, I don't know how many people have used GenSpark. I don't know if you have any experience with it, but they have their own browser similar to like Comet with Perplexity.
Right.
But it removes all of the pop-up ads and stuff. So
Nice.
it's really nice. I mean, it's got GenSpark integrated, their LLM, but I use it without using that necessarily. I just use it like if I go on a page and I've got a million pop-up ads showing up, I wind up copying and pasting that into the GenSpark browser, and it's really
Right.
nice.
Yeah, I have there's a couple of guys in our local group, and they love GenSpark, and I have it on a long list of stuff to test, but I've just been so busy between the holidays and everything else. I mean, it's been on my list for a couple of months, but I hear great things about it, so I would definitely use it
All right, thanks.
based on the feedback. Yep.
Anybody else have a question? I think for the last question, Laura, if someone here wanted to immediately improve the quality of their outputs today, which of the three win with AI habits should they focus on first and why?
Okay, well, if you want to immediately increase your the quality, you have to make sure you give a lot of good examples and really good input. That's more important than time stamping or anything else. You need to give it as much information as possible. And that you can send web links, competitors, information about your customers, and information about your your product, and then examples of how you want to write. I mean, I kind of write a little bit snarky, so if you see something that's pretty generic and kind of fluffy, you can pretty much guarantee I didn't write that. So there you go.
Okay. Thank you so much, Laura. As always, this is a great presentation. And AI Morning Club, please feel free to share your love to Laura on the chat. And this has been a great week because all of you has been with us for the whole from Monday to Friday. We will see you again next week. I hope that you have a great weekend, everyone. And thank you again, Laura.
Oh, and thank you very much for having me. Okay, guys, and you know how to find me if you need me. I'm always available to help. Okay.
Yeah, so if you want to follow Laura, her newsletter is agencyinsider.news. Okay,